Hey guys, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. Welcome to my Ninja Succession Guide. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start off with how do you actually unlock Succession? You want to go into your Black Spirit menu and go to the Suggestion tab. You want to select the quest named Ninja Succession and finish these 7 quests. After you've completed the quest chain, you'll want to use the free Skill Armstrong reset it provides to reset all of your skills. This is important because it's where you unlock Succession. In order to learn the Succession skills, you must learn the very first skill in Succession, Shadow of Darkness. As you already know, Awakening skills are not available if you've learned Shadow of Darkness. In order to learn Succession skills, you must de-level the absolute rank of the skills available in Succession. This includes Fatal Blow, Shuriken Malice, Shuriken Flight, Shadow Slash, Box Claw, Blade Spin, Black Moonlight, Beheading the Dead, and you also need to level your killer training passives to at least rank 17. You can still use your Rabam skills while in Succession, so make sure you grab these two as well. Now you have the correct prerequisite skills, it's time to level your Succession. After you've leveled your Succession skills, you'll notice that your main skill kit has those Succession skills grayed out. In order to max out all Succession and main skills, you'll need exactly 2,269 skill points. It's significantly less than the amount of skill points required to max out Awakening and main skills. However, in order to fully use Succession at its peak, you only need about 1741 skill points. Here's the skill tree for the bare minimum skill points you'll need for running Succession efficiently. Have all of these maxed. And level all of these skills accordingly. Here is my skill add-ons for the Succession tree. You'll notice that after swapping over to your Succession, your Awakening skill add-ons have been removed. I chose these, but they are subject to change in the future as I get more comfortable with the spec and determine what's more optimal. With Succession, ninjas have some new special mechanics. Our new class buff no longer has the 50% HP, WP heal, and stun that Awakening had, but it has an increased accuracy buff, all resistances increase buff, and now it allows you to apply 3 dots on any Succession skill. A dot is a damage over time skill that applies a poison, bleed, pain, or burn that has a short duration. Malice has a new poison dot with increased damage, and it still applies a stiff. Shadow Slash now has a super armor, a bleeding dot, and an increased attack speed buff from 5% to 7%. Prime Evasive Shuriken Malice is a new Malice that has a directional input and a poison dot. It also has a separate cooldown from our original Malice. It introduces a new mechanic called Alert Stance, which can be activated with right mouse button after casting. Alert Stance is a frontal guard. Fatal Blow can now add a W input to do a forward dash and applies a bleeding dot. Shuriken Flight now has a poison dot, down attack modifier, and a left mouse and right mouse input after casting to activate a super arm. Black Moonlight now has a float on the first good hit, a poison dot, and an air attack modifier on all hits. It also has a new input, Shift C. Smokescreen now has the Alert Stance input with right mouse button after casting, and a burn dot. It also has a new skill particle effect. Foxclaw now has a float on the first good hit, a bleeding dot, and now the air attack and down attacks apply at all times. It also has a new flow option that allows you to press left mouse button to activate Black Moonlight afterwards, and right mouse button to activate Beheading the Dead. Beheading the Dead now has a poison dot, and a down attack and air attack modifier. It also generates 30 WP per hit, which is really great for grinding. Beheading the Dead's 200% Black Spirit Rage skill was untouched and remains the same. Bladespin now has a longer animation, but has a new spacebar input after casting. This input allows you to speed up the animation of Bladespin to activate the last hit, however sacrifices on a little damage. Bladespin's 100% Black Spirit Rage is also a new animation that hits much harder. The two awakening skills that was ported over are Katana Shower and Chaos Spree, which have new names. Both skills no longer have their Black Spirit Rage versions. Red Rain is the same skill as Katana Shower, it does the same damage, however it applies a burn dot and has a new gorgeous skill animation. Dark Frenzy is the same skill as Chaos Spree, does the same damage, however applies a bleeding dot. It is now cancelable at 2 intervals, one near the beginning and one near the end. It also has a gorgeous new skill animation. Succession Crescent Slash now has a right mouse input, which can only be activated if you have the absolute rank. It does a little hop and has full super armor. This hop can only be used with Crescent Slash off cooldown, so you can't spam it. Succession Ankle Cutter now has a right mouse input, which can only be activated if you have the absolute rank. It does a little hop and has full super armor. This hop can only be activated with Ankle Cutter's cooldown, so you can't spam it. The flow also applies the DP debuff in an AoE when you land from the hop, and a bleeding dot. Here is a basic grinding combo that I use for Histria. As I become more comfortable with Succession, I may develop a new combo in the future, so tune into my streams. Use any Malice to pull, then stack the mobs by using Shadow Slash towards your stacking spot, followed by Dark Frenzy as they approach. Now use Malice, Ghost Greeting, Fatal Blow to apply the plus 12 melee AP bonus, Ankle Cutter RMB, this will apply the negative 20 DP debuff to all monsters in the AoE, Shriek and Flight left mouse button, Foxclaw left mouse button to activate Black Moonlight, then Bladespin. Normally the monsters would be dead here, so you can follow up with any filler skills like Katana Shower, Shadow Stomp, another Malice, or Foxclaw RMB to activate Beheading the Dead. Succession has a lot of new movement options. Here, I'm going to show you a basic movement sequence, just to give you an example of what Succession Ninja movement looks like. As you get better with Succession Ninja, you will learn your own sequence and how to utilize them in combat. Now that you know how to move, here are some engages to help you catch your opponent. Alright, now you know how to move and engage. Time to learn some Succession PvP combos. Here are a few basic ones to get you started. I'm using 206-209 AP to ensure my target doesn't die. block jump. This will apply a stiff. Grab. This applies my first primary CC, a bound. With the ankle purposely to miss the bound and turn back with right mouse button to land on your target. This will apply a 20 DP debuff. Malice, Shriek and Flight. This will apply my second primary CC, a float, and Foxclaw left mouse button. Beheading the Dead. This applies my first primary CC, a stun, Malice, Ghost Step forward, Shriek and Flight left mouse button to apply my second primary CC, a float, and Foxclaw left mouse button. Shadow Stomp. This applies my first primary CC, a float, Blade Spin, spacebar input to speed up the animation of Blade Spin, Malice, Shriek and Flight. This applies my second primary CC, another float, and finally Foxclaw left mouse button. Here are a few tips and tricks for ninja succession that aren't really shown in the tooltips. There are probably more things I haven't even found yet, since succession has only been out for a couple of days. With succession, we have a ton of new cancels. A ton of new cancels. Did I mention a ton? Yeah, no kidding, right? How many cancels are we at now? Ghost Greeting's attack speed buff now stacks with Succession Shadow Slash's attack speed buff. You must land a hit on a target in order to activate the Ghost Greeting attack speed buff, however. While testing Ninja Succession, I found a few bugs and some things that could use a quality of life change. If you use Beheading into Ghost Step, you can cancel it instantly. But if you use Alert Stance into Beheading, you can't cancel the Beheading instantly with Ghost Step. Not sure if they'll change this in the future or if this was intended. Ghost Step into Brace activates Smokescreen instead of just Brace. This wastes your Smokescreen if it wasn't intended. Ghost Step into Red Rain does not activate correctly. It uses a right mouse button instead of casting Red Rain immediately. Ghost Step, the WF version, into Ninja Step while holding Shift does not prioritize Ninja Step anymore. It activates Foxclaw now. The scenario that this correlates to is when you're traveling far distances by foot, like in Node War Siege, or in Augment and Hystria. You'll be holding Sprint with your Shift while spamming Ghost Step, and you'll want to use Ninja Step occasionally. However, this bug will make you use Foxclaw instead. So you have to let go of Shift in order to activate Ninja Step to ensure that you don't cast Foxclaw accidentally. These are the shoutouts to all the people that helped me. I think Succession Ninja is great. It doesn't have Frontal Guard with C-swapping, and it doesn't have the Awakening class buff, which heals 50% HP and stuns, which is a huge loss for PvP in all forms. You can't sustain movement as long as Awakening, and it runs out of stamina incredibly fast, but it makes up with an incredibly high damage output, which is great for ganking, and even faster burst movement. Its grinding speed far exceeds Awakening, as I've been able to pull much higher trash loot than Awakening with the same gear. With more practice and consistency, I'll be able to pull much higher trash loot than I currently do. All in all, I think it's a great spec for all ninjas.